compared to impersonalism, which is less perfect and undergoes more difficulties. Impersonalist may be able to see Sat Chit form only, while Bhakti Yogi can reach Sat Chit and Ananda position also.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. So the word we saw that Krishna uses in concluding part of the second verse of chapter number 12 is Teme Yukta Tamo Mataha. And we also mentioned that in the earlier parts of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has time and again stressed how the personalist way of approaching understanding the absolute truth is the best form of understanding him. So he uses again the word Teme Yukta Tamo Mata, those who are engaged in worshipping Krishna and understanding him through personal the path of bhakti, they are the best, they are the perfect. He uses the word they are the perfect. And we also discussed about how the worshipping the deity form of the Krishna is easy and convenient. Anybody would like to add any point on this?
Prabhuji, not on this, but of the previous 12.2, it reminds me a lot of the Chatushloki as well. Matchita Matgata Prana, right?
Yes.
It says with your mind, you're completely on my personal form and always worshipping, right? And with complete Shraddha, is considered to be the most perfect,
yes,
right?
Yes, Mother. Thank you very much.
Also, Prabhu, can I add something?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes. Thank you. So, another important point I could find.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So, another important point I could find is that Krishna ji has.
Adish Prabhu, we'll just let Dharmeshwar Prabhu complete.
Yes. So, he has clearly informed that the path of devotional service is most direct and the simplest path. And all the benefits of other paths like yoga and Ashtanga yoga and impersonal worship, all Jnana yoga, all these benefits are easily or readily available to devotional service person. There is no separate endeavor required, and the guarantee what Lord gives as part of 12.7, which is Tesa Maham Samruddharta Mrityu Sansara Sagarat Bhavamina Chirat Partha Maya Veshtachetsam. So Prabhupada has written in that purport that yogi has to transfer himself to other planet, but devotee is being taken care by Lord himself. And Lord takes him to his abode. So that's a great part of it. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji. And the point you just mentioned, the example from that particular point, we are going to discuss in our group activity shortly. Yes. So any other point, any other devotees would like to add, especially around the worship of the personal form? Hare Krishna. Adish Prabhu. Yes, Adish Prabhu, please go ahead. Please go ahead, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Rohini Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu. I would just like to add one point. Since the soul is embodied in the material body from so many years or eternally, it is very difficult for us to for anyone to practice the unmanifested or impersonal form of Krishna. Therefore, that also is one of the reasons where it is so easy and easy for the embodied soul to actually connect with Krishna in personal form.
Yes. And Prabhupada mentions in the purport, because of our embodied nature, we have the conception of bodily, what is the word he uses? It is very easy and convenient for us to understand the deity form because we have the bodily concept firmly fixed in our mind, life after life. So it's very easy to accept the bodily form. Yes, Mataji. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Adish Prabhu. Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji, yesterday last class we discussed the difference between Dvaita and Advaita. That is the impersonalist and the devotees. Like the impersonalist, for them, like it is a very difficult path, and also like they have to do meditation, and then like after a lot of it's a very tedious process. And whereas bhakti is very easy, and also it is mentioned that bhakti is what's that word? Sorry, I'm not getting it now. That is susubam kartumam. It's very easy, and then impersonalists they have to like keep everything in mind while living their body. Like it should be Uttarayana, and like whereas for devotee, it's like Krishna. For devotee, they don't have to like Krishna will take care. So that's what I remember, Prabhuji, of this
Thank you,
question.
Prabhuji. And what is the
Thank you,
word
Prabhuji.
Krishna
Hare
uses?
Krishna.
What is the word Krishna uses for the impersonalist? How that way of realization is very troublesome?
And Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Prabhuji, for
Hare
the
Krishna.
impersonal, to achieve the impersonal form, one has to learn the scriptures, the Upanishads, where the language is not known. It's a little difficult to perceive the forms of the Lord, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji. And Krishna uses the word klesho adhikarastesham. It's very, very troublesome to make advancement in that path. Thank you, Priyadarshini Mataji. There was one more hand raised. Santosh Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Very
Hare
nicely
Krishna.
added. All the points have been very well covered. One more thing which I wish to add is this impersonalist path is very troublesome, and even one gets successful, reach Brahma Jyoti, there is always a risk of falling down back again. So whereas we in Bhakti, where Krishna personally take care of his devotees, so this is more surest and perfect path for self-realization.
Thank you, Santosh Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Is there any other devotee who would like to add any point which we may have missed? If not, we proceed to the next part.
Prabhuji, one more thing is even see Krishna delivers, right? Said there was at the end, I think it was 12.7 shlokas, so which we discussed. So wherein
Yes.
if we are in the ocean of material ocean, right? So he comes on an Garuda and he picks away for the pure devotees, right?
Yes, Prabhuji. We also saw how
Krishna Prabhuji.
Lord reciprocates devotees also of the Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita, and here again he's showing his reciprocation, his personal care for the devotees, bhaktas. So, Namnishta Prabhuji, do you add anything from the recap points?
No, continue.
Okay. So next is the group activity, Prabhuji, to discuss a couple of analogies. First analogy is the mailboxes on the street from 12.5 purport, and second analogy is the child being cared for by the parents from 12.67 purport. So Prabhuji, can you make Janaki Mataji also co-host? So in case needed, Mataji can help with muting any devotees. And let me also copy this to the group chat. So,
Okay.
okay, Prabhuji. Let me just-
Now, how many people are around? 38. Breakout room.
can make-
So 5 into 8. Send me. Oh, spam has also started.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji's Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So shall we start group wise summary? Let me just ask the other devotees to come join also. So each group can have one devotee volunteer ready to discuss the summary, and any subsequent devotee volunteers we ask for, you can just add on any point if it is missing, so that we don't have repetition. And if devotees are comfortable, you can keep the video on if you are sitting in a comfortable setup. Hare Krishna.
Shobha Mataji, Hare Krishna, you are going to speak on this?
Hare Krishna.
You can speak on this on our behalf.
If you want, you can speak, Prabhuji.
As I told, I returned in the only at 2:30 in the morning. I heard it. It was very nice. Then by both you and brothers, Uta Prabhuji. One of you can now come here and.
Yes, Prakash Prabhuji, would you like to speak, or Prakash Prabhuji? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Mataji, you can brief. If required, I can add. Otherwise, you can lead, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you for devotees for putting on the videos. So we'll start with room 8, group number 8. So Shweta, Loya, Mataji. Yeah, Shubhamay Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yeah. So the examples, the analogy is given mailbox, right? So the relationship between the devotees and the Lord it's like the direct relationship is there, and as if we post our letters in the mailboxes, they will naturally go to their destination without difficulty. But if in any other boxes, if we put letters, it may not go. So it's similarly, God has an authorized representation in the DT form to receive our service, to accept our service. He is here, the Archa Vigraha. It is the incarnation of Supreme Lord. So to receive our service, Lord comes here as an so it is actually the DT worship is like it's a very scientific. As soon we do this, the prana pratishtapana, no, the Lord is there. So some people say that the Lord is unlimited. How can you put Lord in limited form, means in the DT? Lord is so unlimited that he can be in the limited form and he can show the unlimited power, means he can show his glories, unlimited glories. So if he is there in Andantarastha Paramana Chayantarastha, means why can't be he in DT also, right? So also the prana pratishtapana, the process is according to the scripture. It is not just we are doing how it is mentioned in the scripture, the like Panchaloha, the DT, and we are doing it is like Panchadhatu, and there is a process. So as soon there is a prana pratishtapana, Lord will be always, means he is definitely, he will be there to accept our services. By means serving Lord, the relationship between the devotee and the Lord, it will establish, and that will increase, and finally one day we can attain Krishna Prema by serving the Lord. So that is there are so many instances that the deity is reciprocated to the devotees. It shows that the deity is nothing but means the Lord himself is directly, he is there, he is reciprocating to his devotees. So one is that analogy, but impersonalists, they cannot they don't know where their prayers are going here. So the Lord hears our prayers, means Lord should have ear. This already we have discussed, and he is a merciful, and he loves his devotees. The mercy, love, all these indicates that Lord is a person. So without person, there cannot be a love, or there cannot be a mercy, or there cannot be a reciprocation. If Lord hears our prayers means there is a person. So that all these things we can say we can means the Sakara Rupa. That one, the devotees are the best. The bhakti is the best, we can say. And how the second verse, the 6 and 7. Child completely dependent on his mother, right? So child doesn't have to ask for his mother that I want food, I want to sleep, I want to means to take bath. Mother takes care of child. So our surrender should be like a small child. So a child doesn't have to ask his mother that do this, do that. Mother knows what to do, what is best for the child. So the bhaktas are like the dear children of the Lord, and Lord comes and directly he delivers the children from the samsara sagar, what we say is the miseries of this world. If you are in the mid of the ocean, you cannot swim your own and you can reach the the bank of this one. But the helicopter can lift you up. Similarly, the Lord can lift us from this the miseries of this world, and He can deliver us. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you, Shubha Mataji. Hare Krishna. So we'll just have one more group representative. Probably, if you want to add anything, group 7, Indira and Jaivan Prabhu, Murli Prabhu, P.S. Murthy Prabhu, Vani Kumari Mataji, and Vilas Prabhu. So just keep your point to around 2 minutes long, so we can give time to all the groups.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Indira Mataji. Yes, Mataji, please go ahead.
There is nothing new to add.
Okay, Mataji, this is fine. There is one question, Namanishta Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, yeah, you take up.
Okay, Prabhuji. So there is one question by Ankit Prabhu. Should we depend upon Lord's mercy or our efforts? Up to what extent we can depend upon mercy, or up to what extent we should put our efforts? So this is a very specific and peculiar question that is asked, and the typical example which is given by devotees to explain the scenario for putting our endeavors versus expecting Lord's mercy is the story of Damodar, where Yashoda Mai, when she was binding Lord Krishna, she was trying her best, but the rope was always 2 fingers too short. So one part of the rope being short indicates the Yashoda Mai's endeavor in binding Krishna, and second part of the rope being short indicates Lord Krishna's mercy. So Krishna did accept Yashoda Mai's endeavor, and when he saw her all sweaty and very tired, trying hard to bind him, then he agreed to get bound by Mother Yashoda's rope. Similarly, it is mentioned that we should be putting our endeavors at the same time. I have heard, try your level best and leave the rest upon Krishna, knowing that it is ultimately Him whose hand everything is in. So we should act as if everything is in our hand, but at the same time, after that endeavor is done, we should understand that everything is in Krishna's hand. So whatever results He bestows, we should be ready to accept. So, and another example is also given of Draupadi Mata, that when her chastity, her integrity was in danger, it's not that she didn't try, she tried her level best, but when she understood that it was beyond her, she completely depended upon Krishna. So is this okay, Ankit Prabhu, in terms of how much we should try? So we should try our level best, but at the same time leave the rest, that is depend on Krishna and accept His will gracefully.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. It was a wonderful example. But Prabhuji, when we discussed this example, it was written that, a devotee should be totally dependent upon Krishna. So being totally dependent may also, is a kind of also bhog, because we want to take service from the Lord. So that's why I asked you. So means we should take care of both.
Yes, correct. So by being completely dependent doesn't mean that we don't try our best. We should definitely give our best and then leave the rest, not without endeavor. And Aishwarya Subhadra Mataji has also given example of Gajendra, that Gajendra, he tried for thousands of years on his own endeavor, and finally when he understood that his strength is decreasing and it's still beyond him, then he totally surrendered to Lord Vishnu by reciting the prayers and offering the lotus flower. So thank you, Mataji. And there is one more question by Rohini Mataji. The mailbox analogy is comparison of impersonalist to personalist worship or idol versus deity worship. So the deity of Lord Krishna, Archa Vigraha Mataji, it is compared to the authorized mailbox. So it is an authorized form. Srila Prabhupada uses the word, it is incarnation of the Lord. So it is authorized form of the Lord to have loving relationship with the devotee. And so that is the example of impersonalists, they accessing Krishna in an unmanifest form versus devotees accessing Krishna through the authorized deity form.
Yeah, he calls it the Archa Vigraha, no?
Archa Vigraha. Yes, Mataji. So any other question? Yes, Guru Nishta Mataji has mentioned, Krishna has mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, we should surely do our endeavor, and after that we should surrender to his mercy. So if no other questions, we can proceed to the next slide. So next part of this particular chapter, and we are targeting to complete the 2 sections and conclude chapter as well today. Next part of our discussion is section number 2, where Krishna mentions the various levels of progressive devotional service bhakti, and he starts with the topmost level, and then he mentions that if one can't follow the platform of topmost level, then what is the next level one can follow. And then Srila Prabhupada also mentions in the purport which particular stages of the bhakti process devotees should target. So having established the supremacy of bhakti in the section 1, Krishna will now explain progressive levels of bhakti in the descending ladder, beginning with the highest platform. So we start with text number 8. Mayyeva mana adhasva, mayi buddhim niveshaya, nivasishyasi mayyeva, ata urdhvam na samshayaha. Translation: just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus, you will live in me always without a doubt. So this is the highest platform of devotional service Srila Prabhupada mentions, which is the state of exclusively thinking of Krishna and stage of perfect Krishna consciousness, in which the devotee, he or she fixes his or her mind upon Krishna exclusively by remembering, by thinking of Krishna. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada states, one who is engaged in Lord Krishna's devotional service lives in a direct relationship with the Supreme Lord. So there is no doubt that his position is transcendental from the very beginning. A devotee does not live on the material.
You're not sharing the screen.
Oh, is it? Sorry, Prabhuji. Thank you for pointing. Is it visible now?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
1 second. Yeah. Oops. One who is engaged in Lord Krishna's devotional service lives in a direct relationship with the Supreme Lord. So there is no doubt that his position is transcendental from the very beginning. A devotee does not live on the material plane. He lives in Krishna. The holy name of the Lord and Lord are non-different. Therefore, when a devotee chants Hare Krishna Krishna and his internal potency are dancing on the tongue of the devotee. When he offers Krishna food, Krishna directly accepts these eatables, and the devotee becomes Krishnaized by eating the remnants. So Srila Prabhupada is using the word, two important words are there. Devotee being in direct relationship with Krishna, and devotee through this process by personal reciprocation with the Lord and engagement in the devotional service, he becomes Krishnaized by eating the remnants of the food offered to the Lord. And then Srila Prabhupada concludes the purport by saying, service gives the realizations. One who does not engage in such a service cannot understand how this is so, how Krishna is accepting and how devotee is benefiting out of it. Although this is a process recommended in the Bhagavad Gita, in other Vedic literatures also. Hare Krishna, Namnishta Prabhuji.
You continue, Prabhuji. We're dealing with spams one after another.
Okay, okay, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. When we went to the Vrindavan Yatra, there also we were told that our jiva is like the Kaliya snake, and when we chant Krishna's name, then Krishna dances on our tongue.
Thank you, Rupali Mataji, for sharing. So, next text. Hare Krishna. Text number 9. So now Krishna mentions that for those of the practicing devotees who can't fix their mind on the personal form of the Krishna without deviation, Krishna is recommending the regulatory principles of sadhana bhakti. He uses the word abhyasa yogena dhatum na shaknoshi mai stiram abhyasa yogena tato mamichhaptum dhananjaya. Perform the regulatory principles of bhakti yoga, sadhana bhakti. So previous text he mentioned for those who have already developed attachment to the personal form of Krishna, and now he refers to those devotees who have not yet developed that attachment, and because of lack of attachment, one who cannot meditate and fix their mind on Krishna without deviation. So for the second class of devotees, he mentions the rules and regulations of sadhana bhakti to be followed, to be ultimately elevated to the stage of attachment for Krishna. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains the Bhakti Yoga versus material existence. In Bhakti Yoga, the senses, so when they are engaged in direct contact with the Supreme Lord, they get purified. Whereas in material existence, senses are engaged in the sense gratification. And service in spiritual existence is the platform of pure love. Whereas in contrast, service in material existence, one serves some master, but there is always a give and take of business, that we render service for getting some benefit, whereas the master accepts the service and gives the remuneration. So that is not the case in case of a pure bhakti. And how to achieve that stage of pure love? By practicing devotional service with the present senses, abhyasa yogena, by practicing the regulatory principles of sadhana bhakti. Hare Krishna. Any thought on or point any devotee wants to share on this for the second level of bhakti? And we will see the conclusion which Srila Prabhupada gives to this particular section in the next verse, which is text number 10. Hare Krishna. Divya Rukmini Mataji, you want to say anything? Hare Krishna. So we proceed to the next verse, text 10.
Pran Prabhuji, so have we locked the room? People can't join if they come in late. Is that something that has been done?
We haven't.
Mataji, yes, I have done.
Okay, Prabhuji, because some people. Okay, Prabhuji.
10:15 is last. They cannot come after that. We
Okay,
have a
Hare
joke
Krishna.
going on here.
Hare Krishna.
They're
Good,
coming
Prabhuji.
at 10:30 just for some time pass.
Yes, Prabhuji. Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
If they have come before and somehow connection was weak, they can put that request. Some people, but 90% people are coming after 10:50. We will lock at 10:10 next time. This is joke, video is off. They are sitting with if you see this on the video, somebody is washing clothes, somebody is cooking in the kitchen, I don't understand. I'm really against telling anybody whose video is off. I'm very angry at you. Very, very angry at you. What is happening, Why video is off? Please tell me. Can you all tell me why video is off? Can you even give me a reasonable justification?
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. My video is not on because my camera is not working.
No, that is okay. That is one case. Why other people? What is the issue? Why their videos off? Because at the back they are cooking in the kitchen. Somebody is washing clothes. Yesterday, last time we put washing, somebody was putting clothes on the line. This is a day they visit their friends and relatives, and just it is on in the corner. I'm already very irritated by spam messages. So much spam messages. Huh? Please keep video on. It's irritating to see video off. We are supposed to have class only for 15, 20 people. We are just working on it now. New batches are coming. And this is, taking advantage of, it's just, I don't know. We will just cancel this time pass going on. Please keep your video on. Otherwise, we'll mark you absent.
Prabhuji, undergoing the treatment, Prabhuji.
That's okay. There are 1 or 2 cases, you're right, but an exception. Because the 1 or 2 cases, we cannot have this. 1 or 2 cases, their connection is loose. Therefore, they joined at 10:45. I came to just give my attendance. And Janaki Mataji, attendance should be over within 10:15. After that, don't give the form. Remove the form or change the login for the form. Something like that. Not that they come and give attendance at 11:15.
Yes, Prabhuji, I've just posted it for everybody. Please, give your attendance. I will lock it in another 5 minutes. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. See, I'm so irritated. Nobody takes any action. Spam messages are coming. Nobody complains. I don't know. See, my hope, instead of the class, this is the barrage of spam messages. I'm dealing with it.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Proceed. So in the next part of the purport, Srila Prabhupada gives a detailed step on how to practice the regulatory principles of Bhakti Yoga. One should, under Hare Krishna, if you are not speaking, devotees can please mute. One should, under the guidance of an expert spiritual master, follow certain principles. One should rise early in the morning, take bath, enter the temple, and offer prayers and chant Hare Krishna. Then collect the flowers to offer to the deity, cook foodstuffs to offer to the deity, take prasadam, and so on. There are various rules and regulations which one should follow, and one should constantly hear Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam from pure devotees. This practice can help anyone rise to the level of love of God, and then he is sure of his progress into the spiritual kingdom of God. So the result Krishna mentions in this particular verse, Mama Ichaptum Dhananjaya, that we will develop desire to attain Krishna if we follow the regulatory principles of the Bhakti Yoga. Through this means what Srila Prabhupada has given. Abhyasa Yogena Tato Mam Ichaptum Dhananjaya. Follow the regulatory principles of Bhakti Yoga. In this way, develop a desire to attain Krishna. So we proceed to the next verse. Text 10. So those of the devotees who are not able to follow the regulatory principles of Bhakti Yoga, for them Krishna explains performing work for Krishna, offering the results of one's work for Krishna. So this is text number 10. Abhyasa api samarthosi mat karma paramo bhava mat artham api karmani kurvan siddhim avapsyasi. Abhyasa api asamarthosi. Asamarthosi means those who are not able to follow the abhyas, the regulatory principles of sadhana bhakti. They should work for Krishna and offer the fruits of their work in Krishna's interest. So in the link to the previous verse, As the mind is fickle like the wind, one may not be able to restrain the mind. So for those who cannot even gradually fix the mind by practicing the rules and regulations of sadhana bhakti, Krishna suggests the option of performing bhakti with one's external senses, that is to work for Krishna, perform one's activities for the pleasure of Krishna, though one's mind may not be fixed upon Krishna. And how to work for Krishna? Srila Prabhupada explains that in the purport. One should be sympathetic to the propagation of Krishna consciousness. There are many devotees who are engaged in the propagation of Krishna consciousness and they require help. So even if one cannot directly practice the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga, he can try to help such work. That means try to help those devotees who are engaged in propagating this movement. Every endeavor requires land, capital, organization, and labor. Just as in business, one requires a place to stay, some capital to use, some labor, and some organization to expand. So the same is required in the service of Krishna. The only difference is that in materialism, one works for sense gratification. The same work, however, can be performed for the satisfaction of Krishna. That is spiritual activity. And how to offer the results of one's work, Srila Prabhupada explains that also in the purport. If one has sufficient money, he can help in building an office or temple for propagating Krishna consciousness, or he can help with publications. There are various fields of activity and one should be interested in such activities. If one cannot sacrifice the results of his activities, the same person can sacrifice some percentage to propagate Krishna consciousness. This voluntary service to the cause of Krishna consciousness will help one to rise to a higher state of love for God, whereupon one becomes perfect. So in regard to these verses, Atul Krishna Prabhu, I recently heard him speak on this particular topic. So he explains, Srila Prabhupada has given these two texts, text number 9 and text number 10, for all of us practicing devotees for direct engagement in Krishna consciousness. As we will see in the next verses, text number 11 and 12, when we go through them, there Krishna talks about the indirect method of Krishna consciousness, which is to engage in the pious activities. But that is Hare Krishna. But that is not the recommendation by our founder Acharya for the practicing devotees. The recommendation is to try to practice both the sadhana bhakti, which is rising early in the morning, chanting Hare Krishna, performing Shravanam, Kirtanam, deity worship, associating with devotees, all these 5 limbs of devotional service. And in addition to that, Srila Prabhupada has also taught us in our current state as either a household or devotees, we should offer part of our income in service to Lord Krishna to expand the preaching mission and in serving the temple, in serving the various projects, or if we can help as a full-time brahmachari, we can support these projects, or even as grahasthas by offering the fruits of results. So Prabhupada has asked us to contribute or participate from both perspectives, from the perspective of sadhana bhakti, the rules and regulations, and also applying the results of our work in service to Lord Krishna. And in these two methods, we will have direct participation in devotional service. Now let us see a couple of verses which Krishna speaks, which give details on indirect participation in devotional service. But that is not what is given by Srila Prabhupada for us. But if one is not able to practice in direct service, then these means are given. Text 11. Athaita dapya shaktosi kartum udyogamaashitah sarva karma phalatyagam tata kuru yatatmavan. For one who is unable to sympathize with Krishna conscious acts because of social, familiar, or religious considerations or any other impediments, recommendations for such persons is given in this verse, which is sacrifice the accumulated goods for some good cause. And Srila Prabhupada gives the examples like giving charity to some hospitals or some social institution. So that Charity for a social cause is also recommended here, because by the practice of giving up the fruits of one's activities, one is sure to purify his mind gradually. And in that purified stage, one becomes able to understand Krishna consciousness. Of course, Krishna consciousness is not dependent on any other experience, because Krishna consciousness itself can purify one's mind. But if there are impediments to accepting Krishna consciousness, one may try to give up the results of his actions. In that respect, social service, community service, national service, sacrifice for one's country may be accepted, so that someday one may come to the stage of pure devotional service to the Supreme Lord. So here Srila Prabhupada is giving a very clear message that this is an indirect way of serving Krishna, and it will take a very long time for one to come to the direct platform of devotional service, which is text number 9 and text number 10. Prabhuji, you want to add anything on this?
Please continue. I'm
okay, sure. Sure. And this is the last part of this particular section, text 12, where Krishna mentions, for even those who are not able to practice the principles of Krishna consciousness in sequential order, what one should practice. So I'll just read the text first. Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasa, jnana jnanam vishishyate, jnana karma phala tyaga, tyaga shanti anantaram. For one who is not able to practice the principles of Krishna consciousness, the regulative principles of sadhana bhakti, Krishna is suggesting getting the transcendental knowledge, and those who are not able to even get the transcendental knowledge for them Krishna is recommending the path of Ashtanga Yoga, the dhyana, to practice dhyana, and those who are not even able to practice this path of Ashtanga Yoga, for them the sacrifice of one's the material activities is mentioned. So one should engage oneself in the cultivation of knowledge. Knowledge here refers to the knowledge about Brahma Jnana, knowledge of the soul being different from the body. And better than knowledge, however, is meditation, yogic meditation, by which one can realize the super soul. And better than meditation is the renunciation of the fruits of action. And benefits of such renunciation, Srila Prabhupada mentions as peace of mind, but all of these are decreasing level of hierarchy in terms of preference. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, but in all of these cases, one should give up the result of one's fruits of labor. This means to employ the results of one's karma for some good cause. Hare Krishna. So this concludes the second section of this particular chapter of Ananya Bhakti, which is the different levels of progressive devotional service or Bhakti Yoga. And in the conclusion to this particular section, Srila Prabhupada writes, he concludes the overall gist of section 2. In summary, to reach the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the highest goal, there are two processes. One process is by gradual development, and other process is direct. Devotional service in Krishna consciousness is the direct method, and other method involves renouncing the fruits of one's activities. Then one can come to the stage of knowledge, then to the stage of meditation, then to the stage of understanding the super soul, and then to the stage of Supreme Personality of Godhead. One may take either the step-by-step process or the direct path. The direct process is not possible for everyone. Therefore, the indirect process is also good. It is, however, to be understood that the indirect process is not recommended for Arjuna, because he is directly at the stage of loving devotional service to the Supreme Lord. It is for others who are not at this stage. For them, the gradual process of renunciation, knowledge, meditation, and realization of the super soul and Brahman should be followed. But as far as Bhagavad Gita is concerned, it is the direct method that is stressed. Everyone is advised to take the direct method and surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. So, any particular thought anybody wants to share, you can raise your hand. If not, we will be proceeding to the next group activity. So let me just paste this. One second. So there is one question on this particular section by Murali Prabhu. He's asking, can we say that Tyaga or renunciation is the basis, is the foundation for realization of God? So what I understood, Prabhuji and Namanishta Prabhuji can add to this, the realization of God, the direct and most effective method Srila Prabhupada has mentioned is the direct engagement in the regulatory principles of sadhana bhakti and in offering the fruits of one's labor to propagate this particular mission. And all other processes, the indirect processes, namely, let me just open that slide. Yeah, all other indirect paths of the jnana, dhyana, and tyaga are lower than that. But Srila Prabhupada time and again recommends in the purport that best is to start at level text 9 or 10, which is the regulatory principles of sadhana bhakti, which anybody can practice even if he has not yet developed tyaga, Prabhuji. And Srila Prabhupada mentions that the advancement through that particular path is much more direct and quick compared to the indirect path. Because if you see the purport, Srila Prabhupada uses the word someday, which means it will take a very long time for such a devotee following the indirect path to come to the platform of understanding Krishna. Murli Prabhu, you want to add anything on this? You can speak up, Prabhu. With respect to non-devotees, yes.
Having some connection issues, Prabhu.
Okay,
I
okay.
just put up the
Yeah.
chat.
So for
Basically, what I was looking.
Yeah.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I'm looking at what I'm looking is we are with the devotees. This is a clear path, but somebody who is not heard, who doesn't know anything, who has no idea where to start with, for them, I'm asking the question: is that the best path to start with? Renunciation.
So as far as our path of propagation, our path of explaining the Krishna consciousness is concerned, Prabhu, even for new devotees, we do encourage them to practice various angas, various aspects of bhakti, as Srila Prabhupada has taught us, as far as devotees preaching to the non-devotees are concerned. It is only if for XYZ reason, if they are not able to take up to these limbs of devotional service, as have been taught to us by Srila Prabhupada, only then we recommend this particular hierarchy, Prabhuji. Like say, for example, some people are too much adamant to not taking up the processes of devotional service at all and being very attached to the path of meditation, etc. For them, we can use this particular hierarchy. But even for non-devotees, if they are receptive to the various limbs of devotional service, even the simplest of the processes that Srila Prabhupada mentions, like hearing about Krishna or chanting even one round, for them the recommendation is text number 9 and 10, Prabhu, even for non-devotees.
See, it's 4, 5, 6, 4. The first was pure devotion, second was sadhana bhakti, third was assisting the devotees in service. This is what is implemented in ISKCON. And general for the society, suppose somebody is demoniac or very atheistic, But this does not guarantee the devotion service. Now, you 4, 5, 6, there is no guarantee of devotion service. Okay. If suppose somebody says, I don't want nothing to do with God, okay, at least be a pious person. But he is not becoming a devotee. He's not going back to God. There is no guarantee that 4 will lead to 3. No guarantee. But it puts him in a best platform, because if he meets a devotee, there is a dry grass will immediately burn. So in that way, there is an opportunity created for him. But at the same time, he is not in a position that to just like suppose you are in 3, you are helping devotees. It's guaranteed that will purify you and you will come to stage of sadhana one day. Or you are doing sadhana one day. If you are doing, guaranteed you will become one day pure devotee. So 3 will lead to 2, 2 will lead to 1. This is guaranteed. And if you are in 1, you will go back to God. But 4, 5, 6, which we had, sarma karma phala tyaga, do some meditation or the jnana, it has no guarantee it will lead to 1, 2, 3, which is needed to go back to Godhead. You cannot go back to Godhead with just charity. You cannot go back to Godhead just by meditation. You cannot go back to Godhead by academic jnana. Body and soul are different. This will not take you back to the spiritual world. But in fact, when Kari is saying that reality that comes when actually what he is speaking is something very deep, which is being meditation. That what if you meet non-devotees? So all of you are saying that will preach devotion service, but I'm in situation when I'm a faculty of colleges. Okay, so when I'm I invite them from the class, please come to my Harinams or my Prasadam session. But in the college, now just tell me, in that situation that I am in, I am able to give them the jnana, which is there in the 4, 5, 6, that body and soul is separate. I can't even utter the name of Krishna in the class. So please don't try to understand the situation, because the system does not allow. Okay. So sometimes you are in this kind of a bridge preaching, what Kari is now mentioning. You can't talk name of God. You cannot talk about devotion service because they are what he's telling sinful by nature. Not only system doesn't allow, at least if the students are pious, college is not an objection. I cannot do kirtan in the classroom because other classrooms get disturbed. I cannot utter the name of Krishna because students, as he's telling us, sinful. So in that respect, in a larger context, see what is happening now. When we are teaching our Gita course, we are teaching something which is, this is there for all the, which will be actually taken only by the Brahmanas. Because our teachings are dhanam dehi, our teachings are the nadhanam, najanam, nasundarim. Our teachings are of that platform. Not everybody can take that platform of teaching. So what he's telling is correct. In that situation, what I used to do is that I used to tell them, body and soul is separate. You should control your mind and senses, and soul exists. That's all I can do. Maximum I can stretch myself to. So I used to give them sarva karma phala tyaga, be nice, be good health. We teach them values. Values in but be nice, be good. That's it. But I cannot teach them Krishna consciousness. But I used to say that, would you like to, so keep pulling them from there to come for the bhajan kirtan, which we used to organize in the college, either in the college premises or a nearby house which we take. So, but in the college, you cannot talk about devotion service. Whenever we have so many of the students still organize what is known as orientation program. So I did go. And now when I spoke in the orientation classes, I could not speak. How can I speak devotion service? So I was speaking about, ISKCON. There is no devotion service. In that respect, 4, 5, 6. Chetan Thakur, एक तो लेटा है, उसके बाद म्यूजिक ऑन कर दिया. हाँ, so we should be very, very, very careful. ठीक है? Hare Krishna. This is a very revolutionary and very expertly has to be done. ठीक है?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, most of the people find it very difficult to follow the regulative principles. That even if they are not Gnostics, but they find it very difficult to follow this. That could be the only difficulty. Otherwise, this is the direct method, easy method.
Yeah. So thank you, Kari, for creating a good discussion. And actually, I'm in the situation you're talking. I for 20 years did only that. Many people said, what you're doing, wasting your time teaching values. Yes. Yes, Rupali Rana, yeah, the following the regulated principles, that is one of the reasons we find it difficult to speak. But at least if we will, preaching of Krishna consciousness, we will just do Harina. We will not talk regulated principles in the day one. But in the normal places, it is not possible. We cannot speak anything. Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, there is also one question on the hierarchy that Krishna mentions in text 12.12. So I'll just read out the translation and then the question. Translation says, if you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in cultivation of knowledge. Means if you cannot take regulative principles, cultivate knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation, dhyana. And better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action, karma phala tyaga.
So therefore, I connected, the two devotees are connected in various ways. In Subodhini, they have put a different way. But if you take the translation, I took it from the translation, then the lowest came cultivation of knowledge, then meditation, then sarva karma phala tyaga. Above it came the devotion service 1, 2, 3. That's what I took, if you take from translation like that. Some people analyze more and then things go up, upside, downside on the 4, 5, 6. Sometimes they put 4 as 6 and 6 as 4. Some other analysis. Doesn't matter. Essentially, we are not doing it anyway. And essence is that when we are teaching Krishna consciousness, be careful when you are in a non-devotee atmosphere. As Murli Kari say, they may laugh. You say, suppose you go to atheistic audience and you say any other part of the world. Prabhuji is in Switzerland. He said, you chant the name of Krishna, become devotee. So he may have to very carefully first build the ground and then instruct. But at the same time, what I have seen, the mistake when you do bridge preaching, and if you're not careful and expert, your bridge doesn't come to Krishna consciousness. That becomes, the whole thing becomes waste. Correct? Then we become just a value teacher. We should be good, we should be nice, don't have the, but we're wasting our time because that will never help you. So we also be careful that the bridge should end in Krishna's lotus feet. The bridge should not, when you make a bridge, it should end on the other side. That other side is Shuddha Bhakti. So actually what you are doing is a very deep process. If somebody interested in devotion service, then Yoga Maya takes over. Somebody is not interested in devotion service, he's in the field of Mahamaya. He'll never understand Krishna consciousness. So actually we build a bridge, and that bridge is called what? What is the bridge called? Anybody knows what is this bridge called? There is a famous word for this bridge. If somebody is interested in devotion service, he will do 1, 2, 3. If somebody is not interested in devotion service, he will do 4, 5, 6. Okay? Not even 4, 5, 6. He will maximum he will do 4, 5, 6. Okay. And he will never appreciate. Like so many people will meet and say, I don't come to temple. Swamiji, I help poor people. That is my God. Many people say that. They will do 4, 5, 6 only. Agreed? You all understand, appreciate. Now, how do we connect people from this side of the bank of world of Mahamaya? The best of it is 4, 5, 6. Below sinful activities are there. And the world of Shuddha Bhakti, 1, 2, 3. And after 1, there is, spiritual word and so many domains in the spiritual world. So 2 are this. How do you connect? What is the bridge called technically? And does anybody know how does the bridge happen? Yes. No, there is a step of Bhakti Yoga. What is it called, Pran Prabhu?
Sukruti, Prabhu.
Agya Sukruti.
Okay.
So an expert teacher, now Kari's question has to be answered. An expert teacher, knowing they are non-devotee, knowing they are atheistic, has to create a bridge without a knowledge. Just like I used to carry a sweet rice, which is the most difficult thing to make. In South India, they used to get boggled. And he put some, pineapple and something in it and make it mind-boggling. We used to do that. And they used to be so tasty, unimaginably. Not pineapple, something they used to put. So you give prasad, so good it is. Agyat Sukriti. And you show some verses. I remember I used to show some verses. And I should say, this is from Bhagavad Gita, particularly that, Dhyayate Vishya Pumsa. This is in a college called Manipal, one of the most atheistic, sinful place. The students just take their mobile and just take a snap. So is this so logical? Yes, he's appreciating. So you have to somehow make him appreciate Bhagavad Gita. By your conduct, by your behavior, you have to make them appreciate the sadhus or Krishna consciousness. They're intelligent, they're educated, they're not dogmatic. And 4-5 things, if we take care, it can be interesting. Just like now, even in this course, we are actually using only one technique which you learn from Atul Prabhu, that is breakout room. I tell you, when we practice, and I think all those who attended the class, we create the next session with all the techniques together. I tell you, it will be so much more interesting. So we can create more, that I feel more than 10 minutes we should not speak. There should be some change of the schedule, because today I was in that situation. As a normal person, I became totally like a Karni. I saw 2 spam messages, my blood boiled, and I was working. And at that situation, it is, I could understand why that kind of teaching is very much needed. Okay, some interaction, some class discussion, some breakout rooms, some brainstorming, some role play. Yes.
Abhyasa yoga yukena Prabhuji. Loka.
Agyata sukriti, the one which is.
Abhyasa yoga yuktena chetasana anyagamina paramam purusham yati patthana.
Yeah, you have to bring them, Mataji. You have to bring them. When Krishna says, "I am not able to control the mind," so Krishna says in the 6th chapter, Hana Mataji is quoting Abhyasa.
8.8.
Okay, 8.8. But the Abhyasa word is okay. Is there also there is
Sadhana. Abhyasa means sadhana.
Yeah, okay. You're talking in a sadhana. So we have to bring them to the platform sadhana. No, an atheistic person. How do you bring him to the platform sadhana? We were talking about Agya Sukriti. Yes, Ankit.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, it is mentioned in 3rd chapter, 26th verse. Na buddhi vedam janiyat ajnanam karanam josyat sarva karmani viddhan yukta samachari. So a wise person should engage the non-devotees indirectly in Krishna consciousness.
Good. Cram more shlokas, so you'll become a level. You would have come here, you would have become Bhakti Shastri teacher from Bhakti Shastri course attending. What to do? Chalo. Now the good news is that we have got how many? We got 17 people as Bhakti Shastri teachers now. Okay? They were learning Bhakti Shastri, they have been authorized to teach. So we will be able to now take on all the languages, 11 languages that we have, start up, and more devotees. Prabhuji is again coming in, is coming in the month of July, and he wants it to be set up a very nice system here. He was very, very happy by all of you. He heard magnificently how it is going, and I wanted him to interact with many intelligent people like Ankit. So we would have been very happy. Now Janaki Mataji, Ankit, many were there. Just to give you a brief, Chetan was also there. Next time you all can plan, because see, our whole objective is that this course, what we have created, is among our students only. We don't have outsiders here. We don't encourage also, because so much effort is going just to develop this course. So at present moment, we request more of our people also. And the next session is there, is after the Rath Yatra. Please plan and come, because our objective is to preach. We are not just here to learn, that we are not interested. We are here to preach. And preaching, what is happening is that all the languages students are coming to Bhakti Shastri level. So Prabhuji, the whole teaching that we got was how to teach interactively, because the attention span of people have reduced because of various reasons today. And also by using variety of methods, make people also think and participate in the class. Otherwise, it's just like one-way classes going on. So we learned all the techniques, and we still will be practicing to implement. In fact, I do feel that daily for the batch happening, if we can create an interactive presentation, some of the people can use. So some of the people who learned it can join us. Daily we will give some time and release, but note the slides will be few slides only. It's a very, very discussion, understanding. I exactly had an experience how a new person will have. See, I'm also in the 3 modes. You see my temperature, as I'm seeing 2 spams attacking our people. I was really irritated and thinking what to do. And at that time, I begged you all, switch on video. You can see my mind at that time. Okay, now just imagine a normal person is in that kind of situation, because he is bombarded by Maya, and you go and start a 1-hour class for him. That's what you do at level 1. It will just not work. That they'll just switch off video, they'll be sleeping or like not be able to, they'll just cut off. But in case you people are able to engage the audience by the skills, you will actually be seen that the people stay with us. Yes, Prabhuji, better. Now the next discussion starts.
Yes, Prabhuji. Now we are going to the last section of this particular chapter.
So this is they will be group discussion now. Oh, group discussion. It's not a breakout room.
Yeah, it's a group discussion.
Over?
No, Prabhuji, it's not over yet. Summarize the progression from Varnashram. So this is basically again talking about the hierarchy, how we can encourage the people in general, non-devotees, to start at their level and bring them gradually to the platform of Bhakti. So actually, but you just covered most of it, Prabhuji, but shall we still proceed with this as a group discussion activity?
No, not an activity. Take 2-3 group. Don't do group discussion. Do class discussion. Take 2-3 people input on this. Class discussion, save time. Group discussion, breakout room take a lot of time. You know.
Sure. So,
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, this is what exactly we discussed in detail, especially the concept of Agnata Sukruti. Yes, connecting the not so conscious persons to the main consciousness, and then as we are born, go ashrams from our yes, we go from the material existence to spiritual existence, and this path, as stated in this, creates us the medium to attain it.
So Murli, your voice was breaking in between. Can you just repeat last 2-3 statements again, please?
Yeah, what I said was that the Varnashrama system, as you grew up in the age, yes, we tend to we go from one ashrama to the second ashrama. Similarly, we're going more from bodily aspects to the more spiritual aspects. Yeah, and this way, the concept of Agnata Sukruti, as suggested by Namanishta Prabhu, would be a path towards the consciousness we want to achieve.
Sometimes in the family members also, what happens is that some people are not interested. So sometimes there is a battle and there is a fight and a shot, but they don't understand that the Sukriti is lacking. You know, unless we have some Sukriti, how can you purchase Krishna? You know, Agya Sukriti, Prabhupada gives an example. Just like a child comes to the temple and father is paying obeisance, he also pays obeisance. He just imitates. You know, he's not doing conscious devotion service. And you know, everybody's dancing. Child also start dancing. You know, and they enjoy more. But he may not be knowing that I'm dancing for the pleasure of Krishna. He may not be knowing. And you know, they dress up very nicely. They like every dressed up. But Prabhupada says nothing is going unnoticed. Credit he's getting. You know, Agya Sukriti, Krishna's mercy. So the credit accumulates. And you know, in that just like in a house, now you're having some members in the house who are not participating with Krishna consciousness. So I asked some family members, how do you succeed in this? They said, its success will come if you engage them. If you engage them, then the success comes. Otherwise, the success doesn't come. Correct? Success comes if you engage them in the Krishna consciousness. I may make them wash some pots and to make them clean that. I remember, I personally tell you my own example. I was not atheistic. I was demoniac rather. And somehow by hearing few classes of Rasaraj Prabhu, which was not devotion service, which was some jnana. What he said, the first jnana. He said that can machines think? That's the first class I heard and I got totally confused. So that was just jnana. And I remember I came to the venue and they asked me, that was later, Prithu Prabhu was coming, a devotee from Germany. And the devotee, I was a little inclined now. So they asked me, would you like to clean the room? And first time in my life, I never broomed in my life. So I broomed the room very nicely. And I felt very happy, very nice about it. And that made me do devotion service. Now take Lord Chaitanya, when he was taking the Prakashan of the Saraswati, Lord Chaitanya made him do devotion service. He sat down outside. He didn't come inside. And Prakashan of the Saraswati came all the way and held the hand of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and lifted him and brought him inside. So if our behavior is very gentle, very sweet, we are polite and the perfect gentleman, many people will respect us just for that. And that becomes Agya Sukriti. Therefore, the most powerful element of Agya Sukriti is said to be Sadhu Sangha. Perfectly, well-refined sadhu who is with knowledge, he has knowledge and he has very good character and full Krishna consciousness, can give the highest Agya Sukriti among all the components of Agya Sukriti. Isn't it? By very gentle attitude, yes, what you need to say, no, and you can turn around a man with a stick to Krishna consciousness.
Yes.
Prabhuji, I just want to add something. The path of devotion, the path of being God conscious, is like a tightrope walk. If you really look at, especially the verses in Bhagavad Gita which talks about the supreme qualities of God consciousness. Good and bad are really poles apart. They're really two spectrums, on the same line. For a good to become bad doesn't take time at all. It's just various degrees of contamination. So immediately with that, the good becomes not so good. And similarly, a not so good is not always not so good. With treatment, with the way you kind of, you try to push yourself up with positive tendencies, then definitely the negative or the not so good can also become good. So to me, the path of being that consciousness, that trying to meet with the inner consciousness is really a tightrope walk. It's not always. Yeah.
See, what happens is that we have no other protection in Kali Yuga except the holy name. So we do, even as devotees, they undergo, as my little experience dealing with devotees, they undergo certain times when they have barrage of their old karma coming and hitting them. Because we do not even know in the heart what all vasanas we are having. We do not even know. It comes at different stages. We don't see, just like a small child doesn't have sex desire because body is not ready. So when the situation is ready, those desires will manifest. Desire for prestige, desire for name, all these are anarthas in devotion service. Now they manifest at a particular moment, and we may not be at that moment, we get carried away and bit disturbed. So devotee in a path of devotion service go through various examinations, and not every time he passes, sometimes he fails. Therefore, apichetu sudharachara shloka is there. So what is needed is that at those moments, a devotee is going through a bit of difficulty, it is good for him to increase his chanting, increase his reading, because we don't have any other shelter. Increase his association, just increase at that moment, so that he can, because the times are tough, but he will be able to go. See, just imagine a devotee personally has a family death of a family member. Now, if for all theoretical purposes, it's easy to say that, we are not body, we are soul. But practical purposes, he will be very in a pain for a certain time. Let's say at least for 2-3 months, there will be some kind of pain in him. Now, it is those situations, he can increase his chanting, increase his reading. So that is one you understood. Similarly, there may be Maya attack. Maybe he works in a particular office or something, and a beautiful woman is there next to him. Now, he's not, it is beyond his realizations to handle that. Maybe he's his group partner. It is difficult now. So what he should do? What he can do? Increase the chanting. So he has to fall back on more association, reveal the mind. There should be an elder devotee whom you trust, who will not keep privacy, and he can instruct you very strongly and help you out. So these are all situations which can help you from the thing. Yes, Prabhuji, go to the next one.
Yes, Prabhuji, we just want to hear any other participants have any other examples.
Go. You will be just only 36 minutes. You want to finish, chalo.
Yes, Prabhuji. The remaining will take only 5 minutes. Prabhuji. We have just the qualities. So
wow.
The concluding part is any other devotees, especially those who have not spoken, would like to give an example of bringing a person outside in Krishna consciousness, like from Varnashram system, and make him into a devotee. Any other examples for progression? Ankit Prabhu, any other example? Yes, Surekha Mataji, please unmute.
Valmiki's example can be quoted here. He was a completely non-devotee, and due to Narad Muni's preaching and his advice, he became a devotee, super devotee.
Yeah, actually, it's very true that in the beginning, when we chant the holy name,
Murugari Prabhu.
also, when we chant the holy name in the beginning, it is Nama Parada and or Nama Bhasa, but not Shuddha Nama. Just like Ajamila also, when he chanted Narayana name, he didn't go back to the spiritual world because he's not chanted Shuddha Nama. He chanted Nama Bhasa, Nama Parada. These are the situations. So Nama Bhasa, Nama Parada situation will wash your sins away, but will not give you Shuddha Bhakti. For Shuddha Bhakti, you need to do Shuddha Nam. And for Shuddha Nam, it has to be done in proper consciousness, which Ajamila did not have at that moment. Correct? So you need Shuddha Nam to go back to Godhead. So now we are chanting. So now we are talking about bridge. We are also in the bridge only. We have reached Shuddha Bhakti. This is also a bridge. We are chanting, but there is no devotion. I'll be chanting Krishna, just like Lord Chaitanya. It is said when he used to chant, or Srila Prabhupada, we had an experience chant. It is sometimes they used to see Prabhupada just singing Jaya Radha Madhav. And one sannyasi was narrating how they were in the temple hall and Prabhupada was just sitting on the seat Jaya Radha Madhav. And water was coming from his eyes like 2 buckets you can fill. There's so much intense. Heart is breaking, rapturing in love of Krishna. And here we say something and maybe little mentally we agitate ourselves and maybe one drop comes. Not like that. So Shuddha Nam itself is actually platform for pure devotion, which shakes Krishna's heart. Nama Parada and Nama Bhasa that we do itself is a kind of a bridge to Shuddha Bhakti, and which opens Krishna's, in which the service is very, very pleasing to the Lord.
And just one recent last time also I read of Srila Prabhupada, and half of that is published in many books earlier, but the second half one devotee told recently. There is a famous pastime that Prabhupada once was traveling through a flight in South America, and one air hostess came by and she offered can I serve you something? And Srila Prabhupada's personal servant was just about to say no, he doesn't need, we are carrying Krishna. But Prabhupada told the air hostess, yes, get me hot milk. And she was very kind. She arranged for it for Srila Prabhupada and handed it over to him. So that is one part of the episode done. After many, many years, very recently, after 25, 30 years of Srila Prabhupada's passing in late 2010, when devotees were doing book distribution again in South America, in part of the towns and villages just on the border areas of Amazon jungle, they saw one particular home where the Brazilian, that lady, she had the photos of the deities and she used to worship, and she was very welcoming to the devotees. And devotees asked her, hey, how come you have these photos and all? And then she told her encounter, mentioning that how this particular personality, and she showed Srila Prabhupada's photo, I happened to encounter him in one of the flights where I was a flight attendant. And I offered him if I can serve him something, and he asked for a hot milk. And then the devotees connected the dots. That I just recollected that how by serving the pure devotee through a very simple means, she got so much sukruti that she took up to Krishna consciousness without much separate association.
Prabhuji, one doubt from my side. So looking at the question, say we said that summarize progressions from Varnashrama Dharma, right? So Varnashrama Dharma is nothing but divisions of the society into 4, right?
Yes.
Is that the thing which we are dealing here, or between a devotee and a non-devotee? So how do we bridge that? So the question says Varnashrama Dharma. So I couldn't connect with these 4 verses to that Varnashrama Dharma. So,
yes.
See, Varnashrama Dharma, yeah, this is, we went down than that. Varnashrama Dharma is mostly, say, if you take the 6 stages, they all require talking about a pious man. It doesn't talking about a sinful man. Even in the Bhagavad Gita, cultivating knowledge and meditation, they're not sinful people. They're all pious people. Correct? So here also is pious people only. Varnashrama is as such karma kanda, basically rules, regulation, which is punya papa. And directly Varnashrama dharma is not giving you Krishna consciousness. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rejected Varnashrama as a means to achieve Shuddha Bhakti. Correct? When talking to Ramananda Raya, the first thing Ramananda Raya proposed is Varnashrama dharma. But Varnashrama dharma keeps the society very peaceful. Everybody is following some rules and regulations, and no sinful activities are allowed in the Varnashrama dharma. And everybody is governed rules and regulations. Okay, but these are the rules and responsibilities taken in society. So these are the rules and regulations you have to follow. Okay, based on it, you have to take in a role of a Brahmin. So these are the rules and regulations you have to follow. But these are all not directly leading up Krishna conscious, but they are supporting a nice vessel for Krishna conscious preaching. Kshatriya should get up when a Brahmana comes. These are all Varnashrama dharma rules, regulations. Kshatriya should welcome. A woman should be taken like a mother. The cow should be given protection. It's all karma kanda at the end of the day. You don't become Krishna conscious by these activities, but it leads to a very peaceful society in which Krishna consciousness can be practiced.
Prabhuji, can I add one more point here? Prabhuji, Varnashrama dharma, if you look at Varna system, it is actually going more physical activities to the spiritual activities. So where the lowest level of the society is doing more physical activities, and the highest ones are doing more dhyana, more subtle activities.
It's still a platform.
So actually, when you are progressing,
just because somebody
it's a platform. I agree with you.
It's a platform. Nice platform. It's giving a nice platform. See, like I see sometimes at 75 years also,
yes,
people are running around for attending marriages. Gone stupid or what? Body is gone, body is sick, still going out to the Namkarana. Yes. Please give it up now. Don't do all those things. Your body is carrying you 5 people are needed. Why you have to go? Sit and chant and read Bhagavad Gita. That way we can follow Varnashrama today. Now it's Varnaprastha. Sit and chant. A nice platform. It gives a nice platform. He's a Vanaprastha now. He will not come.
Yes, I agree. Yes.
It's a nice platform. Yes. But you see, he's a Vanaprastha. That's right. He's a Vanaprastha, so he doesn't have to be called in now social activities. He is exempted now. He can he can do more of dhyana, but he may what they do, they only watch TV channels all day, so he may misuse that facility, the Varnashrama. Just like at home now, elder people are there. You don't ask them to small menial jobs. They are given respect and comfort, correct? And I think most of us are above 50 that are enjoying that. We don't have to do many menial jobs we give, but we can misuse that facility instead of using it properly.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Thank you all the devotees for your valuable participation. And last point, Ankit Prabhu has also given example of the 4 Kumaras and Shukadev Goswami, who were Jnanis on the platform of transcendental knowledge, and how they became devotees through getting, like Shukadev Goswami through hearing the activities of the pastimes of the Lord, and 4 Kumaras by smelling the tulsi leaves offered to the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. So now we move to the last section of this particular chapter, chapter number 12, where Krishna mentions the qualities in the devotees which make the devotee very, very dear. He uses the word priya time and again, and he also uses the word bhakti man to refer to the devotees. So such devotees who possess these qualities become very dear to Lord Krishna. So we'll just refer to the verses now. Text 13 to 19. Adveshta sarva bhutana maitra karuna evacha nirmamo nirahankara sama dukkha sukha kshani santushta satatam yogi yatatma dhrudha nishchaya mai arpita mano buddhir yomat bhakta same priyaha. So such a devotee who is not envious towards anyone, including those who are envious of the devotee, he is not envious towards them as well. He is Maitraha, very friendly. He is kind, merciful to all, free from the sense of proprietorship, free from false ego or identification with body. And all these qualities Krishna lists, which make a devotee Same Mad Bhakta Same Priya. Such a devotee becomes very, very dear to Lord Krishna. You can just have a quick look through these verses and the qualities. Then we proceed to the next verse. Prabhuji, any specific qualities you want to stress? You can stop.
So we are finishing this. We finished this chapter.
We will be finishing. Yes.
Prabhu, you continue.
Okay, sure, sure. Yes, ma'am. One second. Yasmano dvijate loko lokano dvijate chayah harsham aharsha bhayodvaigai mukto yah sachame priyah. Lokan no dvijate chayah. The devotee is not agitated by anyone, neither does he become the cause of agitation for any other person. Harsha marsha bhayodvaigai. If he is equipoised in both harsha and aharsha, the distress and joy, in fear and anxiety, is anapeksha. That is the next one, text 16. So I will just read this text. Anapeksha shuchir daksha udasino gatavyatah sarvarambha parityagi yomat bhakta same priyah. He is anapeksha shuchir daksha. He is neutral, pure and clean and expert, skillful in all situations. Udasino gatavyatah. He is without cares or unattached to material persons and free from all pains. Sarvarambha parityagi. He is free from all material endeavors, and such a devotee is very dear to Krishna. Next. Yo na rushyati na dveshti na shochati na kamshati shubha shubha parityagi bhakti manya same priyaha. Yo na rushyati. He neither rejoices nor grieves when he gets something what he wants, or he doesn't get what he wants. He doesn't rejoice or grieve. Na shochati na kamshati. He neither laments nor desires. Shubha ashubha parityagi. He renounces all auspicious and inauspicious things. Sama shatraucha mitrecha. He is equal to both those who are friendly and those who are inimical. Tulyaninda sutirmauni santushto yena kenachit aniketa sitirmatir bhakti me priyo naraha. Tulyaninda. Yeah. Those who are equal in both criticism and praise. Mauni, one who is silent, who speaks only the essential topics about Krishna. Santushto yena kenachit. He is satisfied with whatever is ordained by the will of the Lord. Aniketaha, doesn't care for any residence. Sthira matir, which means he is steadfast in his mind or fixed in his knowledge. Such a devotee is very dear to Krishna. And then we come to the last verse where Lord Krishna mentions. Ye tu dharmamrita nidam yatoktam paryupasate shaddhana matparama bhaktaste tiva me priyaha. Those who follow this imperishable path of devotional service and who completely engage themselves with faith, making me the supreme goal, are very, very dear to me. So such devotees who possess these qualities that come out of devotional service are very dear to Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji. So the home assignment part, I'll share through Janaki on the WhatsApp. It's not mentioned here. So we'll come back on that. Any question, any raise your hand?
Yeah, Prabhuji, I think with chapter 12 now being complete, we complete module 2. So
yes. So we complete the second and very important part of Bhagavad Gita, the portion of Ananya Bhakti, pure devotional service. So we will have some evaluations, Mataji, and for which we will publish on the group. But those evaluations based on the recent the seminars and sessions by Atul Krishna Prabhu, we will try not to have them memory based as much as we had earlier.
Yeah.
But we will have it more focused on various aspects of learning. So the details will publish on the group, Mataji.
Sure. Hare Krishna.
And today, something like 2 o'clock, for those who like to join, we will be trying to apply interactive, basically it's simple, but interactive teaching for the new batch that we are having. Every day we can have some time, at least some drafts will be made and improvement can happen. So those who want can join us at 2 o'clock. I think same link. We can try to straighten out, and instead of making it a 1 hour class, give it the limit, because the level 1 is definitely very raw people.
Yeah.
But still, they need it more actually. They also need, but how we can do at the same time, do the delivery of message also. We can start every day, and that way we can try to straighten out the presentations also. There's a presentation we use for 24 batches now, 23. It's a time we start improving them. Maybe this time little, and then the gap we get between the 2 batches, we will finish it up. 18 new presentations. Okay, so welcome. Today, 2 o'clock. I was thinking 10, but 10 o'clock we had this presentation. So 2 o'clock, if somebody is free, can welcome to join.
Yes,
Okay, Prabhuji.
Yeah,
Prabhuji, if we can't,
assignment.
Prabhuji, if we can't join, if we
No,
cannot join, how can we? How can we contribute?
You can write to me something you're thinking about. I'll just give you a picture of it. Just like you think about chapter orientation. Now, the orientation day, we are not taking class, but we are developing commitment. Now we are developing a commitment that takes sankalpa. So what do you do? First thing you ask them, maybe they can type also in the chat online that can use. Why do you think that Gita is so important that we all come together to study? So everybody, and give, maybe people can type, take up the good ones, and, you say, yeah, that's very nice. Then you had a class, that's called a class discussion, which you're not breaking, takes time, this is openly happen. Next, say, okay, why do you think we need to have a systematic study of Gita, like 18 days studying 18 chapters, doing quizzes? What benefit it has? Do you think it's important? Then people say, yes, it's very important because this will happen. You are bringing them to speaking from their own mouth what you want to speak. And then they speak that. It's common sense, And then many people feel, yeah, I'm in a good group. He also feels similarly. I also want to study Gita sincerely. He also is saying, yes, I have to study. I want to study Gita very sincerely. And it says like that. And then after that, we bring out that we are having for you 10 stages, level 1, level 2, level 3, isn't it? And then all let us have sankalpa. We can make them sankalpa. They all agree, They themselves spoke. Study of Gita important. Now let us have sankalpa. So in that way, what happened, instead of taking a 20-minute class, why Gita will be very important, we are doing that, they know. Let them come out from their own mouth. So intelligently, it's engaging a conversation. The Gita teaching will be fun, I feel. And another interesting thing is that generally the teachers, they are very keen. We have 300, 500, 700,000 people. By interactive teaching, 20 is the ideal number. After that, it's very difficult to engage all 20 people, and you should be regularly taking their names. Okay, what do you say? Yes, Janaki Mataji, what you will say that we need to have systematic study of Bhagavad Gita. Person feels nice. and he's acknowledged and he participates. It's just a skill to what we just practice that, and it doesn't end the course. What we learn, we have to practice and maybe do it again and again. So maybe it really interests. Don't you think it was interesting now, orientation, Ankit, like that? Anna? Or otherwise, Ankit take 20-minute class, where Gita study is very important, and it is said there. And after that, you saw Gita Mahatmya. After doing all that, oh yes, you got it.
Yes.
First, you make them discover the truth. Don't give them. Nobody likes to be taught the truth. Make them discover, and then show how actually Gita Mahatmya is so wonderful. Oh, really? It's just so many things. Speak for 5-10 minutes, and then again go something like that. So we will attempt. And those people who feel that they got a gist of what it was, actually it is recommended for advanced teaching. But I feel personally, how many of you feel that interactive teaching will be even exciting, even at level 1? How many of you feel? I exactly was, we are also in 3 modes. You saw my situation, how upset I was. I started banging with it. I was locked the room because the 2 spam messages attacked me, and I was very disturbed. So people are like that. They're also. I imagine at that time when I was hearing Prabhuji going on, I said, "Oh my God, how long he'll go on?" That's how we. So if you can't give interaction, it is exciting. It'll create exciting. I think many people are very. Valar Mataji is by nature very interactive. And Mangala Mataji is already. Children teachers are very interactive by their nature itself. So those were, I have seen the people who came from children teaching, they do very well in teaching, because by nature they adopt a very interactive approach, isn't it, Valar Mataji? It is very difficult for small children to go on. They are so restless, they break the laptop.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yeah, I thought, children will be easy because, they're small, but actually they are pretty difficult because they all want to participate. Everybody will raise their hands. Everybody want to speak. Unlike, adults usually are very quiet. But it's a very nice experience to work with children.
You know the one who know Chinese, no?
No, Prabhuji, I don't know Mandarin. No, not at all.
Mandarin. Where are the locate? No? Our next target is 5 international top languages. Anybody knows Spanish? Okay. अरे इधर आ इंदिरा एंड जयंत, तो आप तो वो निकालो ना, क्या वो हमारा कोंकणी? हाँ,
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी।
अरे शुरू करो। वो लोग बोलते हैं कोंकणी लोग को तो प्रचार करना असंभव है।
Prabhuji, I just checked. What a coincidence, Prabhuji. I just checked with Jayant Prabhuji if he is teaching actually.
So maybe we should support them in the beginning. Maybe a hesitancy will be there, because there's a husband wife, imagine, so rare. Both are so enthusiastic together sitting, correct? So maybe it can be taken up. We were remembering also we can have French. The top languages you were telling Mataji Janki is Spanish, no? Spanish.
French, Prabhuji. French is the widely spoken language.
Mandarin.
And then comes English.
English is we have already doing. We are not doing in Spanish, French, Mandarin, and we can take top Philippines.
Russian, Prabhuji, you have a Russian Guruji.
Russian, yeah, he is ready. Russian, but he speaks very fast. To hold him. Those who have been admitted, he speaks very fast. So the 5, we need 5 teachers for this 5 languages. And Indian languages, I'm missing Assami, I'm missing Konkani is very much needed, because this is our land, our Mangalore. There are so many people who have Konkani here. So Konkani, and then we have Assami, and then we have this Gurumukhi, Punjabi. Anybody knows in our group Punjabi? Gurumukhi. Ankit, आपको मालूम है पंजाबी?
जी बोल लेते हैं हल्की हल्की, पर पढ़नी नहीं आती।
होगा क्या, अब नहीं होता है. So anyway, so these are all our future things needed, and we will also try. We will also try. That's okay, Rameshwar. We will also try that we can improve our presentations ongoing. And we had, back to back Vrindavan Yatra, then we were in this course. So actually, even though we had a break, we didn't get time to work on that. French Prabhuji, Belgian temple organizer classes, it not Murli Kari. Yeah, No, that's okay. That we not our own initiative we wanted. So first, let us finish India. We are we have our domain. Let us do Konkani and
Yes, sir.
2, 3. Let us do. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Nice. Thank you very much. And I hope I think everybody approves that the class nature has improved after more discussion approach, and we have learned from Prabhuji. Rohini Mataji, what book you are showing me?
Prabhu, it was just the Bhagavad Gita I was referring when Prabhuji was teaching, so I just kept it this side.
Take it. That's it. Okay, that's 12 o'clock sharp. So we will try to improve. In fact, when the presentation was going with Pranchetan, I felt that actually few of us who have done the course should sit, and others volunteers are welcome. And even a Bhakti Shastri class should be remodeled so that to create more discussion and actually more interaction. And I hope you didn't mind switching on the video, but it is nice now we can see each other now. We know each other, because otherwise we meet somewhere in now next whenever next opportunity there, we will not recognize each other. I know Navalat Mataji how she looks. I know how Anita Mataji we know. Some of the people we don't know by face, so we're seeing like at least we recognize. Facial recognition is more easier than remembering the names. Okay, fine. Thank you so much, everybody. So today, Ram Navami in the evening, please do join.
Happy Sri Ram Navami, Prabhuji.
Happy Ram Navami, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.